In a world divided by borders and passports, a lone traveler finds himself trapped in the international terminal of JFK International Airport. Viktor Navorsky, a simple man from a distant land, embarks on a journey of a lifetime. Can a man whose homeland no longer exists find his place in a country that refuses to recognize him? Can he find shelter and acceptance in the heart of the bustling airport terminal, a place of transience where nobody truly belongs? Will he adapt to a life without a country, language barriers, basic survival needs and overcome loneliness and isolation? Did he manage to break free from the confines of customs and border protection security at the airport to pursue his ultimate dream? Why was a planter's can considered so significant to this traveler? And what was in it? Come, let's delve into the journey of Viktor Navorsky, the challenges he encountered, and whether he managed to overcome them successfully. Hello and welcome to Raining Reviews channel. The movie opens with JFK International Airport, bustling with activity and showcasing the diverse array of people from all over the world. Planes are landing and taking off, and the airport is a symbol of both hope and transience. Viktor Navorsky arrives at the airport and proceeds to the immigration desk, carrying a planter's can with him, which seems to hold something of sentimental value. At the immigration desk, Viktor presents his Caucasian passport and immigration forms, expecting to enter the United States. However, the immigration officer quickly realizes that something is amiss. The immigration officer consults with his supervisor, who informs Viktor that a sudden political upheaval in Caucasia has resulted in the United States no longer recognizing Caucasian documents. Viktor is visibly confused and presents his Caucasian passport to Frank Dixon, Stanley Tucci, acting field commissioner, who takes a quick look at it. Dixon explains that Caucasia is currently undergoing a civil war, which has resulted in the United States revoking recognition of the country's government. As a result, Viktor's passport is no longer valid for entry into the U.S. Viktor, who doesn't speak English fluently, can't understand the legal intricacies. Viktor is understandably shocked and confused by the news. He struggles to communicate his need to enter the U.S., presumably for a personal reason that he keeps private. Dixon, however, remains firm in his stance that Viktor cannot enter the country. He tells Viktor that he must return to Caucasia. Viktor is now in a state of limbo, as he cannot legally enter the U.S. or return to his homeland. U.S. Customs and Border Protection seize Viktor's passport and return ticket pending resolution of the issue. He becomes a refugee and is forced to live at the airport. Frank instructs Viktor to stay in the transit lounge until the issue is resolved. Viktor decides to make the international terminal his home. He arranges a living space in a secluded corner of the terminal. He uses 2 sets of chairs to create a bed and living area, complete with a desk made from a baggage trolley and a curtain fashioned from a jacket. Viktor establishes a daily routine. He wakes up in the morning, brushes his teeth at the terminal restroom, and goes about his day within the terminal. He starts each day by adjusting his clock to Caucasian time. Viktor learns to adapt to life at the airport. He observes the various social dynamics among the airport staff, fellow travelers, and tourists. He becomes familiar with the routines and workings of the terminal, understanding the different roles of airport employees. Also, Viktor begins reading English language guidebooks and magazines to learn English. Viktor befriends several airport employees, including the janitor, Gupta, Kumar Pallana, and a food delivery worker named Enrique Diego Luna. These friendships are built on Viktor's kindness, humility, and willingness to help those around him. Viktor becomes well-versed in the unique quirks and rules of living in the airport. He learns to use a nearby baggage conveyor belt to store his belongings securely and even comes to enjoy the repetitive announcements over the public address system. Victor manages to obtain food and other provisions through various means, including collecting quarters from abandoned luggage carts and occasionally receiving help from his new friends. He even shares meals and stories with Gupta, bonding over their shared experiences. Throughout these interactions, it becomes evident that Victor's language skills have improved since his arrival. He communicates with passengers in English and other languages, showcasing his growing proficiency and adaptability. Amelia Warren, Catherine Zeta-Jones, flight attendant of United Airlines, stumbles upon Victor Navorsky and she mistakes him for a building contractor who is frequently traveling. Enrique is a young and enthusiastic airport worker who is in a romantic relationship with a female immigration officer named Dolores Torres. Their dating is going through a rough patch, and Enrique is struggling to communicate with Dolores due to their busy schedules and the stress of their respective jobs. Enrique strikes a deal with Victor, who is meeting Dolores daily with an aspiration of obtaining immigration clearance. Enrique requests Victor's assistance in playing matchmaker, seeking to learn Dolores' preferences and dislikes. In return for these interactions, Enrique commits to providing Victor with food. Victor accepts the agreement and assists them in resolving their relationship problems. As Victor translates their heartfelt messages, the couple is able to clear up misunderstandings and rediscover the love they have for each other. Victor's role as a mediator helps Enrique and Dolores mend their relationship. Frank Dixon views Victor as an inconvenience and an obstacle to his career. He concocts a plan to use Victor's unique situation to his advantage. He decides to leverage loopholes in immigration. Frank believes that by establishing Victor asylum as a refugee in the USA, if he accepts credible fear of returning to their own country. If Victor consents to Frank's proposal, they could appeal to an immigration judge to expedite Victor's release from the airport, enabling him to visit New York on the same night. Despite Frank's efforts, they fail to persuade Victor to create a case for fearing his return to Cracovia, as Victor clarifies that he is not afraid of his country. This situation leaves Frank visibly irritated and frustrated, his annoyance becoming quite apparent. Amelia indulges in meaningful conversations with Victor. As they begin to see each other periodically, she opens up to Victor about her personal life. She appears visibly distraught and conflicted, hinting at a deep emotional struggle. Mila Dragovich, a Russian man, is facing an issue with an airport official who doesn't speak Russian, and Mila Dragovich doesn't understand English. This language barrier results in a misunderstanding, causing the airport official to become frustrated with Mila Dragovich. Mr. Thurman succinctly describes the situation to Dixon by saying, when the 9:12 flight from Toronto landed, they discovered 4 prescription medications without a medicinal purchase license. They attempted to confiscate the pills, and he became upset. We believe they're for his father. With the interpreter located an hour away, Thurman proposes the idea of using Navorsky as a translator. Initially, Navorsky conveys Mila Dragovich's message that the medicine is intended for his father. However, as it appears that the medication might be taken away due to the lack of proper documentation, Victor intervenes and admits, "I make mistake." It turns out the medicine is actually meant for a goat. Dixon becomes suspicious and accuses Victor of exploiting the system, citing Victor's familiarity with the forms, specifically, the one that states that no medicinal purchase license is required if it's for an animal. Ultimately, Mila Dragovich himself clarifies by saying, "medicine for goat," and he is allowed to keep the pills with him and let go. Dixon's response to the situation is a complex mix of emotions, including anger, frustration, and uncertainty. He even goes so far as to threaten Victor with a 5-year jail term. Dixon's intense anger directed at Victor doesn't go unnoticed, and his superior appears disapproving of his behavior. Victor's compassionate deeds make him well-liked among the airport employees, and he earns the affectionate nickname, Victor the Goat Navorsky, from the staff. Dixon's superior offers him valuable advice, suggesting that he can take a lesson from Victor, who exemplifies compassion, a fundamental building block of the nation. Furthermore, Dixon's superior encourages him to display kindness towards others. In the meantime, Victor pays a visit to Dixon's office to extend an olive branch following their recent conflict. As a symbol of reconciliation, he offers Dixon a decorative wall swordfish from the Virgin Isles as a peace offering. Dixon, however, shows little enthusiasm for Victor's gift and presses him to disclose the contents of the planter's can that he carries, to which Victor responds it's a promise he intends to keep. Filled with wounded pride, Dixon angrily vows to prevent Victor from setting foot in New York or even a toe in the United States. In response, Victor simply leaves his office with the gift. Victor goes to great lengths to create a makeshift restaurant setting. He uses a tablecloth and a candle to set up an intimate dinner table in the middle of the busy airport food court with help from his friends at the airport. After their dinner, Amelia opens up to Victor about her personal life. She admits that she is in a relationship with a married man, which has left her feeling conflicted and unhappy. She acknowledges that she is torn between her feelings for her lover and her desire for a genuine and loving relationship. Victor listens attentively and empathetically to Amelia's confession. He offers her his understanding and emotional support, even though he is clearly attracted to her. Also suggests he has a surprise that he wishes to reveal next time they meet. One day, Dixon takes Amelia aside and raises questions about Victor and the enigmatic peanut can he carries. To which she casually replies to make peanut butter I guess. He inquires about Victor's purpose for visiting New York and his accommodation plans, to which Amelia responds that she only knows him as a contractor she met at the airport. At a later time Amelia meets Victor at his makeshift home. Amelia reveals that she has broken up with her lover and also confronts Victor who has not been entirely truthful to her and blames all men lie. Victor explains his complex situation and takes Amelia to reveal the gift he has built for her. It's a beautiful shining fountain on the wall. Amelia becomes curious about Victor's wall, and she asks him about it. Victor explains that he's been working on it for a while, and it's his way of coping with the challenges of being stranded at the airport. He tells her that it's something to do, something to keep him busy. Amelia then asks Victor why he didn't just ask for help to get out of the airport. Victor responds by saying, "Because I have a promise to keep." Amelia is intrigued by this and inquires about the nature of the promise. Victor shares that it's a promise to someone very important and special. This promise is the reason he won't leave the airport until he fulfills it. Also he reveals the contents of the planter's peanut can, a copy of the iconic "A Great Day in Harlem" photograph. His late father, a jazz enthusiast, had come across this famous portrait in a Hungarian newspaper back in 1958. He had made a promise to collect the autographs of all 57 musicians featured in the picture, but he passed away before obtaining the final signature, that of tenor saxophonist Benny Golson. Victor's mission in coming to New York is to fulfill his father's wish and collect Golson's autograph. After hearing this touching story, Amelia kisses Victor, moved by his dedication. 9 months later, Victor's friends wake him with the news that the conflict in Cracovia has ended, and he can acquire a green stamp, allowing him to leave the airport. During this time, Amelia had asked her friend, Max, who is, in fact, a married government official with whom she had been having an affair, to secure a one-day emergency visa for Victor to fulfill his dream. However, Victor is disheartened to discover that she has rekindled her relationship with Max during this process. When he presents the emergency visa at customs, Victor is informed that Dixon must sign it. With Victor's passport now valid, Dixon is determined to expedite his return to Cracovia as he is reluctant to let Victor into the USA. He uses threats, even mentioning the possibility of prosecuting Victor's friends at the airport for their unlawful activities, including the deportation of janitor Gupta Rajan back to India for an alleged assault on a police officer. Unwilling to let this happen, Victor reluctantly agrees to go back home. Upon learning of Victor's decision, Gupta takes matters into his own hands, running in front of the plane that would transport Victor back home, ensuring his deportation and relieving Victor of this burden. This delay gives Victor the necessary time to venture into the city. Dixon instructs his officers to arrest Victor, but disillusioned with Dixon's actions, they decide to let him leave the airport. As Victor is about to enter a taxi, Amelia arrives in another cab, and they share a brief smile and make eye contact. Dixon himself arrives at the taxi stand shortly after Victor's taxi has departed. When his officers arrive and suggest cordoning off the area and searching all vehicles to find Victor, Dixon, having experienced a change of heart, informs them that there are incoming travelers to attend to. Victor reaches a hotel in New York where Benny Golson is performing and finally secures the last autograph he needed. He gets into a taxi and tells the driver, "I am going home." The taxi departs, heading back to the airport. Mehran Karimi Nasseri, also known as Sir Alfred Mehran, was an Iranian refugee who resided in the departure lounge of Terminal 1 at Charles de Gaulle Airport from August 26, 1988, until July 2006 when he was admitted to the hospital. His life story was documented in his autobiography, titled The Terminal Man, published as a book in 2004. Nasseri's experiences served as the inspiration for the 1993 film Lost in Transit and the 2004 film The Terminal. In September 2022, he returned to living at the airport, and tragically, he passed away from a heart attack in November 2022. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.